Greetings, Dr. Beckett. Welcome to the Quantum Leap Podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to the Quantum Leap Podcast. I'm Albie.
And I'm Chris. And Albie, Ziggy tells me there's 100% chance that big news is afoot for the Quantum Leap Podcast. What's going on? What gives?
I know,
100%.
we've been 100%, that's pretty good. We've been teasing this for a while. There are things afoot at the Circle K when it comes to the QLP. Chris and I are here to announce a new hosts of the Quantum Leap Podcast proper. We're still going to be here doing things here and there on
And
YouTube.
stuff. Maybe stuff.
Things and stuff, but, infrequently like we do. But the main guy, the head honcho now at the podcast proper is my friend and yours, Peter Veunnasack. How you doing, Peter?
I'm good, gentlemen. Thanks for having me. And again, I already mentioned it on social media, but thank you for lending me the proverbial hand link to the podcast.
Yes.
You can't have my hand link, but you can have the proverbial hand link. Is fine.
Yeah, that's
Big
pretty
things
amazing hand
happening.
link,
Big
I'm
things
jealous.
happening. You and
Yeah.
Mikey, right? So
That's correct.
for people
Yep.
who don't know
Yep.
you, that haven't
Mikey
seen you or
Graf.
heard you on the show here and there, tell them about yourself and tell them about Mikey and all the good things you got planned, and tell us, because we're finding out a lot of this new stuff too.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it's we're going to provide some different perspectives. Mikey has never seen the Quantum Leap series, the original run. He gave the reboot a few episodes, didn't get too far into season 1. I never gave a reason why, but this one being a big blind spot, having been a lifelong fan of Back to the Future and time traveling movies and television shows, he doesn't know why he missed out on this. And so we thought it'd be great for him to go back and watch these episodes, join Sam and Al on their journeys, and just asking questions that maybe we don't think of ourselves, because it is what it is from the show. Like, there's things I'm not going to be able to answer because, like, you know what? I just never thought about that because show. So I'm implementing that just a little bit there, so that way it's still part of the QLP DNA. But we're not trying to remake anything you guys have done. We're just trying to do something a little bit different, a little bit fun, and we incorporated some games. So we have like topics that we'll go over at the end. I sent Albie a little list that I was working on. One of my favorite ones is, when was Sam seen talking to himself? Because it's not a matter if did it happen in this episode. It's when did it happen in the episode. So just little things like that. I kind of want to see if Mikey caught needle drops. That's another topic. Let me
Cool.
see. Yeah. So just doing something different. It's more of a rewatch. We're not going in depth like you guys have previously, because those are all still going to be available. If anybody likes those, anybody new that finds the podcast that prefers that, they're all available. So ours is going to be abbreviated. We've mentioned that we're nowhere as near as smart as everybody else. Christopher, you and Matt having been authors yourselves, and we're going to be just a bit of a dumbed down version, just two guys having a good time talking about the episodes. We're not experts at all, so we're going to be learning from the people that are going to be joining us along the ride, and hopefully we hear some feedback, and we will 100% welcome the corrections and things like that, because I don't know if the lore is as good as some of the fans out there, for sure.
What is your personal journey with Quantum Leap fandom, Peter? What appeals to you about taking over the helm of the QLP?
Yeah, I mentioned this. So we recorded our Genesis episode. So parts 1 and 2 is one big episode. And I kind of shared the story that I've been podcasting for 11 years. And the very first idea I had was to do a Quantum Leap podcast. But lo and behold, Albie had already started one with Heather. And it was already well done. And, he's getting interviews. I'm like, well, I what's the point? Like, I'm just going to listen to him. So I've actually been a longtime supporter of the QLP just from afar. And so, I listened to your guys' coverage of the reboot, seasons 1 and 2. So I've always kind of been around in the waiting room, perhaps just kind of waiting. And I spent the last 7 years covering Cobra Kai, and I put a lot of myself into that podcast. I lost like the remaining grandparents that I had. I had a birth of 2 kids during that run, and I wanted something kind of different and something kind of fresh. And I've never really considered myself to have been part of the Quantum Leap fandom. And since it was a show I've always wanted to do, and you guys had kind of stepped back on a bit of a hiatus following the cancellation of season or of the reboot series, I thought, approach you guys and ask, what do you think about having some new voices and having a different approach on it, with somebody else brand new to the show. And so I think those are always fun to hear.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea because what me and Heather did was one thing, and then what my next crew that came in with me was another thing, and then what Chris and Matt and Allison did was an amazing another thing with the same episodes. So with the new blood of you and Mikey doing this over again, I think it's going to really revitalize the feed. And like you said, all that other stuff is already there. And oh my goodness,
we are joined.
We have a surprise guest, Peter,
Mr. Quantum Leap himself.
Yeah.
No,
Mr.
not Scott
Quantum Leap
Bakula.
himself.
More
No, the
important
other
than
one.
Scott Bakula.
The amazing Brian Green from Al's Place. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, how's it going?
We are
Not
here
bad, and
seeing Peter off on his journey to start the Quantum Leap podcast all over again for the fourth time.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I think this is so fantastic. Brian, you popped in at a great point here, because I was just saying, kind of how me and Albie met when he first started the QLP, and why I decided to kind of ask him about taking over. And it just comes full circle, because Al's Place was like one of the earliest websites that I would frequent as a kid.
Oh, great.
We kind of mentioned this in our Genesis recap and review, that I discovered Quantum Leap as early as like the 2nd grade. So I was watching this at the age of like 6, 7. And so I'm going to be going back and watching these episodes. It's been like over 10 years, but I'm going to go back. There's going to be things that went over my head as a kid that now I'll understand and might have some insight on. But the idea of revisiting some of these episodes and being able to share how maybe a moment in the episode or the episode itself has impacted me or influenced me in some way. I'm tipping my hand a bit, but I'm forgetting the title of when he leaps into the DJ.
Good morning,
Mhm.
Peoria.
Good morning, Peoria.
Okay, there you go. So I made a makeshift radio station in my auntie's closet, and I would play music from the little CD player. And so I was already kind of podcasting or pretend podcasting, at a really young age. And so I'm going to go back and share some of these stories. And I've never done it before, and I'll be doing this with a friend who's watching the show for the first time. So
That's
we've been
amazing.
having fun
Awesome.
so far.
What are your thoughts on the new blood, Brian Green?
I love it. Peter and I met in a podcast a while back, briefly. I can't remember which one it was, but already impressed. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, thank you. Let me see. What was it? It was definitely with Albie as well. And maybe it started off with a group chat. I think it was a group chat first.
May have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the one where you were flying across the world and you were stopping at every international airport in every country and then checking in with us?
Yes.
I think I met
Yes,
him
you were on a
beforehand.
plane, something.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, okay.
And Drew was speaking when I popped in at one of my stops. So I saw that that he's seen the announcement and he liked it. He liked the post on social media, so he's very aware of what's going on as well.
Yeah.
I think Raymond saw it as well.
Raymond's awesome. They're
Mhm.
all so nice. Feel free to reach out to them, and a lot of them will come back on again, I'm sure, when you're doing something that could involve them. If I could give you any advice, it would be get Brian Green's number and text him if you have any questions, because this man knows stuff.
He's the phone a friend, right? Like if
He
I
is
need
the
an
phone a
immediate
friend.
answer. Yeah.
Maybe not at 11:30, Albie.
What time is it?
It's
Oh, it's
11:30 for me.
Hey, how you doing? I just text you anyway. He's like, he had to take the PJs off and the sleeping cap and all that stuff.
Pretty much.
Shirt on.
Oh yeah, we sure could have used Brian's phone number earlier. We recorded a pretty good lengthy episode, and it's just it went as well as Sam's first sleep. Just a little caca, just a little bit,
You got to find your footing.
But
I
yeah,
listened back to the
exactly.
first few episodes that me, Matt, and Allison did, and I'm like, wow, what were we thinking? But it gels after a while, just because what I love about it is that the willingness and the camaraderie is there, and as long as you have that basis of love for the property and that excitement about covering it, you'll find your footing, and it'll be another great chapter for the QLP. I want to thank you personally for taking the reins, because we kind of ended it on a down note, as we all know, but it was also a natural stopping point as well, because the revival series had just been canceled. We only had a few books left to cover that the show hadn't covered. I mean, the QLP hadn't covered.
Mhm.
And we just we stepped away out of necessity. We just all needed the break, and it's been weighing on me over the last few months. Like, okay, I don't want the QLP to be moribund anymore, but what can I bring to it that I haven't? And for the life of me, I still couldn't figure out an angle. And you came in and you took that burden off of me. So thank you.
Oh
And
wow, thank you.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to, having the QLP back in my life, and you're making that happen. So it means a lot to me.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's we were definitely nervous, coming in knowing that there's already a built-in fan base, listenership, viewership on YouTube. And so and Mikey, this is his first hosting duties. Like, he's been a guest several times on many of the podcasts that I've done, but he's actually going to be, doing some research, doing a little bit of homework. He has his little bit with the games that we do at the end, where he will be looking up on the days of those leaps, like if there's anything that's worth noting in our actual history. So, we're gonna, have some fun with it. And he's still a little bit nervous, and I'm sure eventually he'll be able to iron all of that out. And it's kind of fun hearing him ask about certain things that I'm like, oh well, it's not going to matter right now. So, like, yeah, this is just because show, So yeah, I can't wait for him to get into it more. He had a lot of questions about that Tina. I go, well, you're like my Tina. Like, I'm picking you up along for
Aw.
this ride, and
Very good, very
but yeah, so he's enjoying it. He actually texted me, and he's like, hey, so I know we didn't set our time for recording, but I already watched the first episode and I want to watch part 2 now. And I'm like, well, that sounds good. I might be free tomorrow. Let's do it. And so,
Awesome.
yeah.
So
So
correct me
far
if I'm
we're
wrong,
having
but
fun.
Mikey, I met while we recorded something for Back to the Future Day this past year. Almost a
Yeah,
year ago now, is
Mikey.
it? Has it been?
No. Just
When was
back
it?
in July 4th.
Yeah,
Okay.
just over the summer.
It wasn't that long ago. Okay.
5th of July, right? That was the
I'm
day
jumping
after.
around in time still.
Yeah. Right. So Mikey reached out to me, and he basically, in so many words, he was just like, we need to do a Back to the Future podcast, and I want to be on it. He said it much nicer, but I was just like, Mikey, say less. Like, you open invitation. Anything you want to do, just let me know. And so I was like, well, let me see if I can get some friends on. And Albie, that's how you were a part of it. And Justin, who was a part of it, Justin had to get off a little bit early. And then you're like, well, let me send a link to Christopher, see if he will pop up. And all the while, before we even started the recording, I saw that Jeffrey Weissman was on Instagram, and I was just like, you know what? Let me just send a message, and if he gets it, great, and if not, whatever. He responded in the middle of our recording and said, "Oh, you guys were probably almost done now," and I'm like, no, like we're still here. Like, please, please come on. And sure enough, he popped in like minutes after Christopher did, and so it was just the coolest thing.
Perfect.
And so
4th of July it must have been, right? I think.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. That was surreal to me, because I was just like grilling in my backyard. Literally, you guys got me like, 1/3 into my martini. And I was just like, could this day get any better? I'm just relaxing in my backyard. I'm having a barbecue. I'm having a drink. And then all of a sudden I get this call, and I'm speaking to George McFly II, I guess. It's just like, how is this my life? It was so surreal.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was after that recording, Inside Baseball, for the listeners there, that's when the discussion was brought up about the QLP. I keep saying key, or it sounds like key, but QLP. So because we're going to be providing some different perspectives and voices, do you guys want to hear a little bit of the new intro.
Ooh,
There's a new
yeah.
intro? There's
There's gonna be a
production
new
value?
intro.
We didn't do
Correct.
production value. How dare you?
Yeah. So I have a friend that has helped me out before, and I reached out to him, and this was literally, oh gosh, Albie, whatever day it was, you and I started talking. It was that day I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, if you're free, I have a new project I would love you to be a part of. And by today, after our recording, I just happened to check my email, and he already sent me the first pass. And I'm like, this is it.
Ooh.
But you know, no notes. Like I am good with what you sent. So here is the intro. I don't want to play the whole thing. It's about.
It sounds a little
42
familiar.
seconds.
I like it.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So
That's
a
really
little
nice. A
synth-
lot of synth.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
synth
it kind
remix.
of reminds me. It's almost like a cross between or a mashup of the original score and the season 5 score a little bit. I don't know why. Maybe because of that synthy and the electronic drum
Yeah.
feel. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I
groove
love
to
it.
it.
It's almost like kind of like Chariots of Fire too. I feel like I'm running slow motion
yeah.
through an
Yeah,
imaging
yeah, it kinda
chamber.
does.
You know.
That was the only
I like
note
it.
I had for him. I gave him the Mike Post link, from YouTube. I'm just like, if you could just slow down the tempo just slightly and just put your touch on it. And he does a lot of like synth covers, of 80s of score from like other properties like Cobra Kai. That's kind of actually where we met in that fandom. So
Oh,
yeah,
I forgot
just
to mention you're
use that.
close personal friends with Ralph Macchio and William Zabka, right?
You say that, but I mean, they know who I am by name and face. I'll say that much. Friend, you're being too kind, but yeah, they do know who I am. I did share that in one of my posts, just to kind of show people that
cool.
I'm kind of like the Albie of the Cobra Kai.
Well,
Of Cobra
here we
Kai,
go.
that's
Now,
really
Ralph Macchio lives on Long Island like I do, so if I ever bump into him, I'll just say, "Hey, I know Peter Veunnasack,"
Yeah,
I'll be like, oh,
yeah,
Peter.
yeah.
and then
right.
he won't duck and try to get away from me. He'll say, "Oh, you know
You won't do
Peter."
the crane move.
Right.
Right. I feel sometimes people send him my stuff because he will randomly just pop up in like certain posts. I'll know why it's this like a certain post. I'm like, because clearly, like if I had a way to just share him this thing, I think he would like it. That I would share too. So I think somebody is following me and just like, oh, I think Ralph might like this, because then that's when Ralph pops up. I'm like, oh, did not expect that. Like recently, actually earlier this year, he got his Hollywood Star, and it's right next to Pat Morita's. And
cool.
yeah, after I went to Paley Fest earlier this year and covered Cobra Kai on the red carpet, I went to go see the star, and I went there with this custom jacket I had made with like Daniel's headband on the back of my jacket, and I stood there and I made a really nice reel out of it, using dialogue from the first Karate Kid film that has Pat Morita and Daniel, where Daniel basically tells Mr. Miyagi that you're my best friend, and Mr. Miyagi says, well, you're pretty okay too. But I kind of showcased the 2 stars there, and Ralph liked it, and I didn't tag him in that or anything, so somebody must have sent it to him. So yeah. So yes, just saw him earlier this year, shook my hand, and thanked me for all the years of covering the show, because this was the final season.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool.
Very cool.
So,
and
yeah.
I think part of the deal, correct me if I'm wrong, Peter, part of the deal in all this is we get to do a few more Back to the Future, the animated series podcast, right?
I'd love to do the rest of them.
When do you have time?
Not just a few, but I'd love to finish it at some point.
All right. We should finish it. I mean, it's a limited
We have a-
series, and we've been working on this for the past 7 years.
Yeah.
So
We have a DeLorean. We have all the time in the world.
we are still
Yeah.
the best. Back to the Future, the animated series podcast.
The best and only.
The best and only.
Hey, I want in
100%.
on that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can have
Let's do
him.
it.
We can have Brian come in on that. You know anything about time travel, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit.
All right.
got a
So when can leapers look for your first episode, and what's the schedule going to be like? Is it going to be as bad as when Albie was in control of the schedule, or what?
I don't. Well, I did Well, I don't know if that's actually on recording where I joked that we'll probably put it out as often as they did, which was sporadic. That was just a
Yep.
little jab there. But we think realistically biweekly might be reasonable to start off with, but we'll see because we are. I don't know if he's okay with me sharing our actual jobs, but we are reaching the time of the year that gets really busy for the both of us, and so it will be dependent on our scheduling. But
Yes.
depending how, yeah, we have the same job, and so depending how excited he is and anxious in wanting to watch the next episode, we may be able to record some and bank them and kind of adhere to that schedule. But as of right now, we're thinking biweekly in terms of when can we have it up. It kind of depends on the feed. I know we're working to get the Apple Podcast
Yep.
feed ready. I know
Yep.
that the YouTube is already ready, but I figured to
Yep.
have them both, ready for the same
Good
day.
idea. Yep. Morgan.
Yeah.
Morgan is helping us big time. The guy who made the hand link.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've
He's like the
seen
only one
some of
that
his
actually
videos too on
knows
his.
how to do that stuff, and so he's helping us with that. So
That's pretty amazing.
soon.
But yeah, we
He
already
is the
recorded
reason that Al's Place
Genesis.
has been online this whole time.
Mhm.
One more time.
He's the reason Al's Place has been online for the last 20 plus
Oh,
years.
no kidding! Wow,
Yep.
you
He
guys
is
been
keeping
okay.
the Quantum Leap fandom online.
That's
Single-handedly.
pretty amazing.
Morgan.
Wow. Yeah, so that's the other thing.
Cool.
There's going to be a huge learning curve to learning, some of the people in the fandom and the things that they've contributed to. And so, yeah, we're complete newbies with me having seen all the episodes several times. I own the DVDs. I need to upgrade, but yeah, happy to return to these characters that I love. And I'm waiting to see if I'm going to shed the tears at the same spots. Many episodes I hold near and dear to my heart. So yeah, I can't wait. Already the pilot, I kind of remember like being lukewarm about it in memory. And upon revisiting, I'm like, oh no, this is fantastic. Like it's well written. Scott Bakula's acting his ass off, and Dean Stockwell. Yeah, everyone's bringing their A game in the first episode. So yeah, really looking forward to having my mind changed about that first season. I just kind of remember the first season having the most episodes of me not revisiting. So back in the day, I just used to jump around depending on feel.
Well, you only have the 6, so it should be an easier lift than you're expecting for the first season this time around. And as far as getting to know the people in the fandom, you'll find that we have the greatest fans in the world. Quantum Leap fandom is so close knit because the show has become so niche. Even with the revival, it seemed like we still had the core group that really followed the podcast and were really integral in keeping Quantum Leap and the legacy of Quantum Leap alive. And we've all grown so close over the years. I'm like Mr. Johnny come lately to this party. And now I think we're scheduled to see each other again, Brian, in about 3 weeks. We're all going to see a Scott Bakula show out in New York City. So, and it'll be like the 3rd, maybe 4th time I'm meeting everybody again. And I never expected that. And it's because of the Quantum Leap podcast and Brian's hard work. Before any of this, the only fandom thing I ever did for Quantum Leap was because Brian invited me to the Leap Back 09. That was it. And a couple of local cons here in Jersey. Well, around here, not here in Jersey, but in Jersey.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that, 25 years later, 30 years later, we're all still talking about Quantum Leap, you join a proud legacy. And I want to tell all the fans, welcome Peter with open arms. He's a talented podcaster. He's a great guy. And I got to talk to alternate George McFly because of him. So that's got to be worth something, right?
It was all a ruse to get you to hand me over the hand link. I was like, I'm going to get Jeffrey Weissman. Yeah. So hopefully everyone welcomes like the sarcasm, the dry humor. I have a little bit of that. Yeah, and so yeah, it'll be different, and hopefully nobody thinks that I'm actually like picking on Mikey when I bust jokes. You know, we're friends, and we kind of share kind of how we connected and the things that we've done together. You know, driving a DeLorean in California, and then meeting up in New York for the musical, things like that. So we share our little
Awesome.
backstory and give our mini bios of where who we were before.
Wow, my appetite is whetted. I can't wait to hear this first episode. Let's get
Yes,
that website
I can't
fixed
wait
so
till
we
that
can get
first
the
episode
pod
pops up.
feedback.
Yeah.
So there
I'm
we
sure
go.
it'll
Yeah,
pop up
after
in
that
our
one
inbox
pops up,
before
I would
the regular
imagine.
people's. We get screeners, right?
Yeah.
We get screeners, right, Peter?
Absolutely. Yeah. Once I edit it up, I can drop a link for you guys to watch and preview first. Love to hear thoughts. You know, if you guys want us to pull it and make
Awesome.
some edits, like I'll welcome those too. Little editor's notes.
Okay. I'm sure you'll be great, but I can't
Yeah.
wait to listen.
Albie's
and,
notes are going to be Albie's notes are going to
Morgan-
be make it longer. Make it longer.
Make it longer. It's only 3 hours. It needs to be 4. And you need 3 more interviews per episode. But that's another.
Oh my God.
Run it through it one more time. There's still some guest stars that haven't died yet, so you still have a chance.
I have one big wish list is
All
Tamlin
right.
Tomita.
Share it
Yeah.
with Brian. He knows some people. Just saying.
You say Tamlin
All right.
And,
Tomita?
of course,
Yeah.
I'm sure Deborah will be on there. You know, it'll be great. You'll have a good time.
I'm
I
sure
can't
you
wait.
can get
It's gonna
Neil
be
Patrick
fun just
Harris,
listening
too.
and not have to worry too much. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's to
Yeah.
me too. It's just I get to enjoy it without the
Mhm.
worry. So thank you. On a selfish note, thank you for that.
No.
Yeah, but
Thank you
if-
for the kind words. Yeah.
If you ever cover foreknowledge, you'll have to have Chris on.
Oh, of
yeah,
course.
unfortunately, that's one of the novels we didn't get to during my tenure on the show. So I'm still eager to talk about the whole process behind that. So once you get through the entire series and the
Mhm.
entire revival series, then you can start hitting the books and the comic books. And I'll be 77 or something, but I'm still going to give it my all.
All right. Fair enough. I'll hold you to it.
All right. Any last minute advice for Peter Veunnasack and his friend Mikey? Brian.
Last minute advice? Oh Lord. If you want me to join you, call me earlier than 11:30. Albie.
Yeah, that's an Albie thing. You won't have to worry about that with Peter. I kept Peter up late for this.
No, just have fun. Read a bunch. Right now, I've gotten my hands on. Well, I've had them for a while, but Quantum Quarterly and The Observer and all those old newsletters back from before I knew there was stuff out there when the internet hit. So I'm going through all that stuff, and I'm learning a whole bunch of just fun things and putting it on the website. So just, read through, throw in some tidbits you find here and there. Just make it your own.
Oh, yeah.
Chris.
My advice is to work out the retrieval formula before you step into the accelerator chamber.
Got it.
All right.
But I've already forgotten because we already made that first leap.
And I'll
Albie, what's your
let you
advice?
finish. I'll let you finish this, Peter. I'll let you finish this show, close it out. But I just want to say I'm very excited that you and Mikey are taking this on, and I trust you implicitly. You've been a friend for so long, and not only like in public and on podcasts, but we've talked so many times on the phone, texting. You really are a close friend, and I really love you and your family. And I'm just looking forward to just hearing your thoughts on Quantum Leap. And I think we couldn't have picked a better new host and co-host for this this new incarnation of the Quantum Leap podcast. So I'll say bon voyage, mon ami.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for all the kind words. That makes the transition much more easier for sure. We just ask everyone to be a little patient as we find our footing. And I know that first episode there's going to be a lot of uhs and ums, but just I think I do a pretty good job at trying to keeping the flow. There's going to be plenty of things we forget to bring up, things that I read and then I think about after the fact. That's going to happen. And so yeah, if you guys do like to leave feedback, you guys know that there are many ways to find us. I've recently got access to the Instagram and X, and I will be on there if you guys want to respond. So on X, it is Cobra. Or see, I was about to say Cobra Kai. It's Quantum Leap Pod and Quantum Leap Podcast on Instagram. So I will be sharing when we make, or I'll make new posts for the new episodes and try to engage and let people know that there are some new people that have been added to the podcast proper. So looking forward to meeting some of you guys in the fandom, and I hope you guys join us for our leaps.
All right. So for the Quantum Leap Podcast, I'm Albie.
I'm Chris.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Peter. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed our commentary. This was fun.
It was really fun. And I always love watching this over and over and over again. This makes, 22 times? I wish I had counted, really. But when I was 14, I didn't know.
It was nice to go back and watch it, knowing what I do know now. It'll be nice to go back again once I've seen the ending, I think.
It's been really nice being with you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Leap on, leapers.
Keep on leaping on.